Mr. Keith Cates, I'm glad that you had received me for this little interview. I would just like to ask you to introduce yourself, please.
I'm Keith Cates, Director of Fleet Services at Concrete Supply in Charlotte, North Carolina. I guess we're here to talk about twin steers and how we feel about them. The twin steer is the most definitely safest truck on the road. We take pride in the fleet that we have with Concrete Supply, and the twin steer is mostly preferred by all of our drivers. At some point in time, we have to take in consideration the difference in the cost. We're running probably 100 twin steers in North Carolina.
What had bring you to decide yourself to switch from, let's say, what you were using in the past, booster loads, to twin steer?
Well, we were turning them over and figured out that the booster load, if the driver run off the edge of the road and he tried to correct with the booster load, 9 times out of 10 he'd turn over. And so we wanted to find something that we could haul the same amount of concrete and be a safer truck. And that's when I heard about the twin steers, and they was running them in Canada. And Sunrock had gotten some, and I went and looked at theirs, went to Canada. That's where I spent some time up there with a couple of different companies in the Canadian market. And that's where we decided that we were going to try some, and we bought 2 to start with in 2004, and they worked so well that's when we started buying more.
How about the payload difference? Is there any difference in between the payload of a 6-axle twin steer, regardless a 6-axle or 7-axle, depending on what you were using?
No, we get the same payload. Our goal was to get 10 yards of concrete hauling on the interstate because of the bridge law. But what it did allow for us is we have a lot of low-weight bridges, which on a booster load we could only haul 4 or 5 yards of concrete, and with the twin steers, the way the axle spacing is, we were able to continue hauling 9-10 yards of concrete on them. And that was a big help for us because we were pouring a lot of schools on low weight roads and stuff like that, and it really paid off for us.
You were saying earlier that the drivers were really liking more driving a twin steer than. What is the main reason about it?
The stability of them.
Okay.
They're very stable when you're in a booster load, especially when you're underneath a plant load and you can see it rocking back and forth. A twin steer will just sit there and take the concrete. I think to ours, we did a road project on 485 here in Charlotte. We used 15 twin steers because the twin steers would pour out faster, not because of the truck itself, but we put 15 of them on there and poured 6,000 yards of concrete, and it was just a benefit to us. But we've had drivers that we've got new booster loads in, kept their old twin steers because they didn't want to drive a booster load anymore. And even we got brand new booster loads in 2014, and a lot of the drivers kept their 2006 and 7 twin steers because they didn't want to give them up until we bought new ones. And we bought some new ones in 2015, and those drivers that had twin steers gave up their other ones for a new twin steer, which passed them down, and drivers got out of their booster loads and got into the used twin steers.
So if I'm getting you, is that your old drivers are keeping the twin steers?
Oh yeah. You can't get an old driver. The younger drivers, they want them, but they know they gotta wait. So it's pretty awesome.
How about the maintenance cost?
Well, about every 2 years you're going to have to re-bushing the bridge master or the booster load. Money difference, you're talking anywhere from $2,500 to $3,000 to rebuild the booster load. You're always got bushings, and a driver has to grease them. We have our drivers grease them at least once a week. Well, they don't do it, and it wears the bushings and the pins out, and then you do it. the maintenance on a twin steer, the only thing that we've had go wrong is the pivot arm. It's probably because our fault, because you should check them, periodically, but it'll strip out. And but that's the only problems that we've had with the twin steer part itself. We figured that the difference in the price of the twin steer versus the booster load was, in a 10-year period, it paid for the difference in the price of a twin steer. We had it down to 5 years.
Last time we talked about it, you were telling me that the twin steer Simard twin steer is bulletproof.
Oh yeah, we've got some. When we acquired Cemex, they had some Kenworths that come from the factory, and talking to other ready mix companies that now have the twin steers, I've seen the Ray-Dan, I've seen the factory builds. By far, the Simard is a better built product than the other ones that I've seen and that we've experienced. That's why, when I was pricing trucks for next year, we looked at the Ray-Dan, we looked at the Simard, because I wanted them to build close to the factory. Simard come out on top, not because you're just sitting here. It was really true, because you know how we are with the dollar amounts.
Yeah, I know.
And so we decided to go with the Simard. Once again, been doing it since 2004.
So you got like 11 years right now experience with the twin steers.
We've got 11 years.
So you know what you want and what you don't want.
That's right. Exactly. Okay. Exactly.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Keat. And
my pleasure.
If ever you got anything else, feel free to tell me.
I will.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.